Hello, and welcome back to my "the game is almost over, so it's time to explore Caelid instead of ignoring it" episode. Last time, I was planning to explore a bunch of Caelid last time, but I got sidetracked. I was getting the Axe Talisman here. It took a while to explore stuff here. It took a lot longer than I was planning. I thought I was going to explore way more than I did. But today, hopefully I'm going to explore some more. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't actually explored. I haven't gone in there. And I'm just gonna go through Caelid, see what I've missed. I'll probably miss a bunch of stuff again. But for now, my goal is to just sort of mess around. And again, after this, depending on sort of how I'm feeling about it, I might go back to the... it's not Horaloo. Horaloo is the second phase. The Godric fight? I might go back and do that next time. I might not. It's all about Caelid exploration. But I'm gonna do my best to explore Caelid properly, because there is a lot to see. And despite having all of these graces, I really don't think I've explored this pair. I don't think I've explored much of Caelid. I think I've ignored like 90% of it. Oh, I hate these guys. They're so annoying to fight. Like, even with the pretty useful, like potentially useful capability of one-shotting them if you get the sneak attack from above, a plunging attack. Even with that, they're just hard to kill. They're just annoying to kill. Ah, Flame Grant My Strength is actually pretty good, I believe. Oh. But yeah, I'm gonna be exploring. I wanted to add stuff that I was like, oh, that could be fun to talk about. Oh. A different ocean. Oh, there's people down there. Oh, that would maybe... No, it isn't. I wonder what that is. I don't know. It's kind of neat. Wait. Oh, okay, I know where this is. Okay. But I guess as I'm running around, there's not a lot to really talk about in the game right now. Oh yeah, I didn't grab it. But in the last week, I've been like, oh, I'm pushing the wrong button, that's why. I'm pushing the Monster Hunter Rise grab item button instead of pressing Y, I'm pressing B. That makes sense. But in the last, like, week, there've been a few weird things that I'm, like, thinking about. For some reason, something reminded me about loose teeth. Which, like, as a kid, having your teeth fall out and then, you know, grow back and all that matters. Like, it happens now and then. It just, a tooth will be loose. Oh, I remember why I got to it, because podcast talking about how there was some weird ways people have gotten their teeth pulled out when they were super loose. Like, apparently the daughter of a Olympic javelin thrower in the UK had they tied their tooth to a javelin and then they threw it, which is pretty weird. But it's just one of those things where it's like, it's not, I'm not meaning to go to the like extent of, oh, the often repeated line of, oh, someday, one time is the last time your parents will ever pick you up. Like, nothing like that. That's, I think, a bit self-serious is maybe what I think, but it's pretty funny. Oops, wrong button. But it's kind of one of those things where I guess it's sort of also like the often repeated internet thing of like that is actually kind of true, that you as a kid, well, it probably depends on where you grow up, but as a kid you worry a lot more about quicksand than you'd expect. It's like the, ooh, why do I have the prattling pate out, or pate? But it's just kind of, occasionally it's fun to think about how, I guess I can come back if necessary. If this doesn't have a two-way, I can just run back from a grace. But as you know, grow up, as your life changes, there's different things that you just forget about, you don't worry about at all. Oh, oh, weird. Weird. Because I'm pretty sure I did that. But obviously I didn't. Weird. Guess I have to go back up. But it's kind of, as a kid, well, I guess starting, actually it's kind of interesting because below a certain age you don't care about losing your teeth, and above a certain age you don't care. So there's only a range in your life where you care at all about losing your teeth. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't start before like first grade, I believe. That was weird looking. Like, I don't think you lose teeth until at least first grade. Because, I don't know, kindergarten just seems young to have loose teeth and to lose them. But I don't have specific memories of that. I know that for a fact that I at least lost one tooth in before grade 3, or before grade 4, I guess. Like, that's the only absolute number that I know for sure. But it's just fun to see how worries change as you age, you know? You might be looking forward to losing a tooth because you'll get 25 cents, or you're not looking forward to it because the whole process of having a loose tooth and having to get it out is not very fun. But it is what it is. It's just fun to think about. I just enjoy thinking about things that I used to think about, that used to matter, but don't, because you don't really, I guess until you're like old, or if you don't take care of your teeth properly, you don't really lose teeth ever again. I wonder what age, like, my understanding, not everyone loses teeth as they get older, because that's not how the biology works, I think. But I'm kind of curious as to what the specific trigger for losing teeth in that sort of context is. Like, it's presumably gums going bad and being unable to hold teeth in place. But what that actually means, I don't really know. Lion's Claw, Ash of War? That could be worth poking around at. Somersault forward, striking foes with the armament. Could be fun, yeah. Rune Arc. Always welcome. I have to go back up. Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's not something that's interesting, in my opinion, to dwell on, but it's kind of, I find it fun to consider here and there these like minor facets of life. Like, it doesn't really matter, but it's fun to think about. Also, like, neat. Another thing that I find fun is like thinking about like there's something about schooling and education that's like I kind of think that if I could somehow live my life just attending lectures, somehow I got paid enough to just do that as like a 9 to 5 job, I think that could be kind of fun. Now, would I be able to do that after I did it? Like, would it drive me mad if after I did it for several years? Maybe. I don't know. You can't really make that judgment. But there's something that's kind of... It's... having people explain stuff when you yourself are not going to need to be tested on it is fun. It's all dependent on what's being taught. Like, I don't think I would be interested in listening to lectures on art history because, well, no, on like lectures of normal art history. Now, like art history with an emphasis on the many times the art pieces were stolen or smuggled through countries, that could be interesting because there's more to it than just the first Renaissance artist. The first artist of the Renaissance was Stephen Smith. Like that sort of history would never interest me, and like the process. Well, I guess the changing points could be interesting. Like, what made modern art begin? Like, what was the catalyst? Could be interesting. I'm doubtful, and I've never taken an art course because it doesn't appeal to me in that sense, but it's still one of those things where I'm just thinking about how there's an appeal to that sort of, and here's the surface level information is what I think appeals to me the most. Like, and not surface level in the sense of, I guess the content isn't surface level, but only having to engage with it on a surface level is what I'm talking about. Like, what is that? I guess you use that to craft the zero stagger on the daggers is the real killing part. That's the real limitation of these weapons. But engaging with it on a surface level, like if you're learning something in a math class, in a math course in university, whatever, you can't just, well, if you want to pass the course without having to cheat, you can't really just engage with it on a surface level. You have to have a certain amount of understanding or repetition to drill it into your head. That's what I'm thinking. Like, why is there a cart that's empty? What I'm mostly thinking about is how it's fun to hear about new information, and if stuff sticks with you, it sticks with you. And that's like kind of, if you can remember it, then it drew your interest type thinking in my head. Like, it's like if you can just learn stuff and then, oh, all you remember is the stuff that interests you because you have no reason to learn it, you're just learning it to learn it, then that's kind of relaxed. It's like, oh, I've already been here, right? I spent a long time here because this is the area where I stopped, pretty much. Okay. Now I'm being chased by multiple birds. And I can't kill these birds with the... Well, I can't easily kill these birds with the daggers. Ooh, I land on that tree. I don't know. I'm just thinking about how interesting it could be to, like, learn a lot about a bunch of broad subjects without the necessity for testing to verify that you've learned the information. Which, in, you know, a school setting, you do need to verify that people learn the information. This is not some, oh, don't do tests in school. Some variety of testing is necessary. I'm just getting staggered on the fire. I just think that, personally, it could be a lot of fun to just learn about... I don't have a topic. Oh, danger. Okay, safe. Oh, danger. That worked, but I mean, obviously over leveled, but... Hehe, this guy's not over leveled. Hehe. I bet this one isn't over leveled either, haha. I really should have explored this earlier, but then I would have been more over leveled for like actual main bosses is sort of the issue. Oh, I found it, cool. Cause like, in my opinion, I was probably over leveled for Millennia. And then I was over leveled for everything after Millennia. And that's even without having thoroughly explored Caelid. Now, maybe the ultimate issue was doing the kill the dragon for a ton of souls near the start. Maybe that's the biggest, like, has the biggest knock-on effect. Because doing that gets you to, like, level 30 real quickly. And then from there, you're kind of able to keep ahead of the potentially intended level curve. I don't know. It's kind of the issue with it being open world. It's less structured, so you can easily outlevel, even without grinding. Why did I mark that? Okay. In my opinion, this has not been explored, but I'm going to do one quick look, and then I'll not go back to the west. Guess there might be an item right here. Why do I have... Oh, because I haven't died yet since... Oops. Will they fight each other? Nope. Just give me the item, please. I haven't died since I died to the boss over in the capital. Why do they not fight each other? They should hate each other, in my opinion. Birds and dogs are not friends. Oh, there's the normal greatsword. Cool. Okay, now I can get out of here. I'll check this little camp, which has a chest. Okay. It was worth checking. I don't know. It's like... Just think... It's fun to learn meaningless information, I guess. But... It's all... personal opinion. Like, learning to memorize all the digits of pi doesn't really interest me. And that is meaningless. There's no purpose to learning all the digits of pi. I've already been here, right? But I can't check the map because I'm aggroed. So I can't actually check if I've been here before. I love this game. Okay, I've been here. So I'm going to say this area has been explored enough. I might do one run through here and then go that way. Okay, that's the plan. But I can't drop down safely. I've already explored that. So just need to run down the middle. I should be able to drop here. But it's sort of fun. Oh. I just remembered what I actually kind of wanted to mention. That's been on the news in Canada. Well, it's CBC Radio 1, which I believe is national. But it has the localized stuff here and there. Like, there was news recently about a change to one of the provinces. On the radio, I did not hear which province, but I think it's one of the maritime provinces. like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, how they made a change to, and this is not a happy fun story, but it's just kind of a, wow, that's kind of wild that that law existed in it, like, story. Like, I believe maybe other provinces have the same law, but there was a law that, or law might not be the right word, but there was a rule that limited, oh, cool, that limited the statute of limitations, which statute of limitations as a word just sounds kind of weird, but the statute of limitations for child abuse, well, non-sexual child abuse, was 2 years, which is horrifyingly low. Like, one of the reasons that it changed, part of the reason that it changed, was there was a man who, within 2 years, was kept in like a super restrictive solitary confinement, and like it was under the age of 17. And like if that type of thing happened to someone when they were 5 and it stopped then, they wouldn't be able to, you know, get any legal, there would be no legal repercussions if they weren't able to sort of get it before the courts by the time they're 7. It is such a wild, it is, I don't know, wild that it existed in the first place. Like, there's no, I haven't looked into why it was implemented, because I'm not a legal person. I don't know how to read legal documents and stuff. And like, as crazy as it is, it's still one of those sort of surface level, it's not good to know, but it's sort of interesting on a surface level is sort of what it is to me. But it's just kind of, that guy looks like they probably drop a weapon. It's just incredibly wild that that type of thing, that type of ruling law was ever put into place in the first case. Like, or, because it's just 2 years for like that sort of limitation. So MHAs, I don't know what MHA means. Newfoundland. Changes will now help cases where Newfoundland government once denied liability. Is a CBC article from 2 days ago. Yeah, Newfoundland and Labrador legislature removes the time limit for survivors of child abuse and ends the provincial argument's practice of fighting their compensation claims based on statutes of limitations. It is wild that that was like, oh, you were treated terribly more than 2 years ago? Sucks for you. Statute of limitations means that you can't complain. Oh, it's a shocking fact that it was 2 years. Like, the province's long-standing Limitations Act placed a 2-year time limit on non-sexual abuse claims, which is ridiculous. Like, it is just such an unbelievable, like, the fact that it existed in the first place is awful. I mean, presumably, it's one of those cases where The only potential justification that I could think of for 2 years being the statute of limitations is specifically so that the province doesn't have to, like, face any form of consequence for their actions. Like, whenever that was put into place, it would have had to have been with that as the, like, maybe not the spoken justification, but I don't think there's any possible, like, real, genuine logic for why that would be a reason. Maybe you could, like, there's certain reasons for statutes of limitations, which, again, I'm thinking the word statutes of limitations just sounds weird because it's, a statute is like a rule, I think, basically. So the limitation, but statute of limitation is always referring to the limitation of time, which is kind of interesting. They also removed other time limits, but it's crazy that that exists. But statute of limitations. But a statute of limitations, known in civil law as a prescriptive period, is a law passed by a legislative body to set the maximum time after an event within which legal proceedings may be initiated. It's just weird that it's, like, the name is just kind of, if you didn't know what a statute of limitations was, I don't think it would be possible to guess just by the name. Which, like, that's kind of what most words mean, but like, at least for me. Okay, I think this is not a cathedral. It's kind of the opposite of a cathedral. A catacomb that I might not have explored down this way, based on the fact that there's only like a dragon communion. But it's statute of limitations. Like a statute, I'm going to search it as I'm running. I should actually just interact with this. Okay, I can't interact while on a horse. Gatekeeper and those returning. Statute. Guide and gatekeeper for those returning to the roots. Yeah. So a statute is, the first definition I see is a law enacted by a legislature or a decree or edict as of a ruler. So then statute is just a decree. And then limitation is just limitations, like restrictions. Nothing about the word statute of limitations indicates statute of limitations of time. Like there's no indication of time in the name. So I actually think it would be basically impossible to guess what it meant if you didn't have context. Like maybe if you heard, oh, there's a statute of limitations of 4 years, you could probably guess what it means. Maybe not perfectly, but you could get the gist of it. Whereas, oh yeah, there's a statute of limitations on this case. You wouldn't be able, I don't think it would be possible to guess the meaning. Which is, you know, language. Language is imperfect because it's not perfect. I can't imagine there's a single language that's perfect. Like, any forcibly, every language is man-made, but like, any attempt at creating a perfect language would inherently have the issue of why bother? Like, it wouldn't have enough of a, like, driving force for it to actually be usable. I just rolled. Oh no, now I have to use some soap. There's the soap. Oops. Why'd I get... Oh, there's a skeleton here, huh? Excuse me. It's just... It's not the type of topic that I think is very fun to talk about. I just think... It's the type of thing that's like... You know, there's probably a lot of those sorts of laws that you just don't engage with if, you know, it didn't affect you or anyone you know. I'm curious what the purpose and effects of statutes of limitations are to protect defendants. There are 3 reasons for their enactment. A plaintiff with a valid cause of action can pursue it with reasonable diligence. By the time a state claim is litigated, a defendant might have lost evidence necessary to disprove the claim. Litigation of a long dormant claim may result in more cruelty than justice. Wait, in classical Athens, is that actually talking Oh, it's actually... There was a 5-year limitation in Athens, like ancient Greece. Cool. That's fun. I'm gonna just commit. And now I need to get some soap. And I'm good. I'm not gonna grab those. I don't know if I'm gonna accept getting poisoned, I guess. Or I can stand here. I hate that. I hate that. That's awful. Oh, it's so mean. I guess it's not that mean, since there's literally nowhere else it could really be, I guess. Like, it's still mean. Just, oh, you can't get to the boss if you don't find this. It's not as mean as the... Oh, no, a shade. It's not as mean as the one that hides the path to the boss. Oops. I thought those were bows for a second. It should be dead. Dead. It's not as mean as the one where the boss path is hidden behind the... Or you have to spin around while going down an elevator to actually find it. That one's rough. Yeah. Statute of limitations are interesting. I think the easiest possible justification for... Or easiest possible super fictionalized example of why they exist that I can think of is like... If you as a 6-year-old steal a lollipop from someone in your kindergarten class, it would not be reasonable if they then tried to pursue it 30 years later when you're both 35. Like, the only purpose of that pursuit would be, I guess, the 3rd example on the list of, like, litigation of a long dormant claim may result in more cruelty than justice on the Wikipedia page. Like, the only purpose of that would be to get back at them. It wouldn't remedy anything. It wouldn't make... The only way it would make the person whose candy was stolen's life better would be making them happy that the other person's life got worse, which is not the best way to do things. Like, again, though, like, it's not like that's the type of crime that would actually get, like... I was gonna say more than a slap on the wrist. But I imagine, like, classically speaking, you know, when hitting children was viewed as acceptable, it might actually result in a slap on the wrist. But, like, a hard one that is not a good idea to do. But that type of thing would at most be like, you get yelled at and sent into the corner because you are a thief and you can't take part in the friendly game of tag for one recess. Where am I? I know where I am. I just don't know where I want to go. There might be stuff up there that I haven't explored. I can't check the map. I really disagree with the extent to which you can't access the map. I guess I can't go up here. I have to go from the other side. Okay. Wow. This guy's so committed. Like, why are these birds so aggressive? Like, do they get eaten? Like, is this payback for eating them? Do people actually? People eat, like, kangaroo. I think people eat ostrich. These sorts of giant birds probably would get eaten, right? If they were able to be hunted. And they weren't tainted by scarlet rot, which they might be, which would make them probably inedible. It's kind of fun to think. What would people in this world eat? Do people in this world even eat? Because, I mean, you wouldn't eat... That dog has... No, it's a chain. I thought that was mushrooms growing out of its neck. This guy's back.
Millicent, my daughter, why would you take out the needle? You were so close, so very close to becoming the fairest of all flowers. Would you disown us too, as your mother did? We children of the scarlet rot. Millicent, Malenia, do you detest us so much? Malenia, do you detest...
I could see if he reloads, or I could just kill him. He seems like the type of guy that would just die, though. But I don't know. I think I explored this town enough. Like, I think I got the main chests already. I don't think I need to do anything here. I'm gonna keep moving. Oh, I should have checked the map. I wanted to check the map after I killed that bird. But I forgot. Oh, in my first playthrough I died to these so well, I don't know if I died a ton. I know that I tried to fight them a ton, and it took a really long time because I didn't want to just run through it. Because, you know, first time through, you gotta actually... Personally, I think you gotta actually experience the areas and fight the enemies to see what's up. Okay, so I'm gonna say this is good enough. This is all just cliff. So I have to go into the central rot, and I have to do like this bit. I have about 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's probably gonna be enough of Caelid, actually. I think I'm basically Caelided out. I think I'm gonna be done with exploring Caelid pretty soon. Which might mean that next time I will actually... What the... Where are you? Oh. You're very committed. I don't know why you're picking a fight, but you are. Whatever, I'm not gonna kill you. You're gonna live. Well, you're not gonna live because you're already dead. I wonder how these... Like, I really wonder... wrong button. I need to push this. I just wonder how this world existed before everything collapsed. Which, admittedly, is sort of... I'm also just kind of... Every Dark Souls adjacent game... You never really get an idea of what the world is actually like before it became what it became. Like, pretty much all the games are like post-apocalyptic within their own world. But then it's like, I guess Dark Souls 1 being sort of post-apocalyptic. Dark Souls 2, I think, is in the same world. So it would be post-apocalyptic. Dark Souls 3 would be post-apocalyptic if it's set after Dark Souls 2. But, like, I don't know. I sort of feel like it could be neat, maybe not great, but neat, to see one of these games where combat's the same. It would be a totally different game. I don't think it would work well. Like, if they had an open world game, like, you know, this, where there are towns that actually just have normal people living in them. Sort of like like, they make areas where you can't kill everybody, like the Round Table Hold, and just, or you can kill them if you so choose, but it's just people living their life to a certain extent. Maybe on a small scale, but more, I guess, less of a military encampment. Like, the Round Table Hold is like bare bones. People live there, but it's more like, oh, this is a military encampment to assist in the finding of the Elden Lord. Like, having some sort of, like, fairly unimportant, but still present. This is so much worse than any weapon I've used to kill these. Wow. But having some form of controlled, like, this is what the world is like. Maybe not going into more detail than they normally do, but just a different, like, tone. It's not no one lives in this world, it's no one lives outside of these small sections of this world. Because every game, everyone's dead. The populations in these games are super small. And any populations that exist in areas are inherently your enemies. They always attack you. I think it could be neat to have a few areas that are like city-based, like Lanedale. If Lanedale had normal people living in it, normal people going about their day, and sure, you could murder them, but then you're a bad person because they're not attacking you. They didn't start it, you started it. Like, I think it could be neat. I don't know if it would fit the tone they always go for, but it would be a different tone. And a different tone might have its place. Although, I guess Sekiro kind of does that, right? Like, they're all your enemies, but it does have, from what I've seen in a limited extent, it does have fairly, like, mundane people basically just going about their day. What little I've seen. I haven't seen a ton, but, like, there are just human guards that mill about in a more human way than guards in the most of the Dark Souls. Come on, I'm not inside. Than most of the Dark Souls games. Like, this game, there are soldiers that move around, but they're always on the lookout to murder you. But, like, Sekiro has... Is this Grace there? Okay, good. Like, Sekiro has soldiers, like, dealing with the death of their horse because of fireworks freaking them out. Like, stuff like that adds a normalcy that I think could be fun if it was more explored in sort of the games. Because I guess, honestly, despite all the, like, eldritch horror, I think Bloodborne kind of does that too. Like, there are people living in, like, it's a quarantine zone, I think, having not played it. Yeah, I've not played it at all. I've seen it played a bit. Like it's fairly normal people, not really that normal, but like here and there living, just living their lives, which I think is, I honestly think that's something that could be beneficial in whatever future games they implement. Like Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Elden Ring, all of them have a similar tone, which is intentional, I assume. Like, it would be difficult for it to not be intentional. That they're going for like post-apocalyptic, but they're not necessarily going for post-apocalyptic, but they're going for the world is kind of ending, which is sort of post-apocalyptic, apocalyptic, whatever. I want to explore a tiny bit more. Like I don't know. I feel like this tonally, one of these games like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, tonally those games are more similar to one another than they are than like Sekiro, and Bloodborne seems tonally closer than Sekiro. Sekiro seems much more, to me, it seems much more feudal conflict. Have I done this? I don't think I have. Good. Like, it's more of a feudal conflict world, which is very different from this. And the combat in Sekiro is very different. Like, it's fundamentally a different combat system. Bloodborne is different, but I would say, honestly, Bloodborne's probably... That guy has a lot of HP. I'd say Bloodborne probably is, like, similar enough combat-wise. I mean, this guy, you're supposed to sneak past him. I kind of want to see if I can put, like, bleed grease on one of these. Blood grease. I assume I can't put it on the crystal knife. I can't put it on either. I think I can use a different weapon to kill this guy. Let's use this one. Let's put the axe talisman. What did I get? I got this. Strength. Axe talisman. I can roll. Okay. In we go. Yeah, this area is supposed to sneak past it. Oh, wrong button. You're not really meant to... Well, you don't really need to fight this guy. It's explicitly set up as like a sneaky. Perfect movement. Oops, that was slow. Oh, no, I didn't push the wrong button. Okay, good. That's fine. Oops. I didn't have time to heal. Greedy rolling. Oh. Okay. And by greedy rolling, I actually mean panic rolling, which is not even kind of the same meaning. He should be dead in one more hit after this. Perfect. Strong attack. And strong attack. Please. Thank you. Dead. Good. How much? 6,629. That's pretty mediocre. Not two-handed. Going to miss. Thank you. But yeah, like I think it could be neat to have a game that's like gameplay wise, it's the exact same as, you know, Dark Souls, Elden Ring. There's differences between those, but more Dark Souls, Elden Ring, but with a, I don't know, city aesthetic. Like, I guess Bloodborne is basically that, but I guess it would have to, I mean, it would be its own story. It wouldn't be Dark Souls, because Dark Souls is done with Dark Souls 3 is my understanding, but like, don't know. I sort of think a more bull goat's talisman. I think a more city-esque. Oh yeah, that's neat. Like more city-focused. City is not really the right word, I think, but a city-focused, less eldritch horror story could world could be pretty fun. Except it's not a hidden path. Is it just that it's an elaborate joke, or is there some like lever you pull and it becomes a hidden path? It's not a traditional hidden path, that's for sure. I mean, there has to be a boss. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's a rule. I'm supposed to stop by my own timing like 5 minutes ago. So I am just gonna search this. Excuse me. No, excuse me. Ugh. I hate sneezing. I have a bad habit, I think, of not sneezing when I sneeze. Oh, I could have just looked here, huh? Like... Cave? Like, it's sort of, I don't know, keeping the sneeze in. I think I've read online stuff that has no basis. That you really shouldn't do that, but... Okay, this is gonna be a pit that I can go down somewhere. I should probably rest. Oh wait, the bear probably respawns. Let's not. I mean, there's a chance the bear doesn't, but... Oh yeah, right here, that's pretty easy. I could have definitely found this if I hadn't searched. But I just didn't want to spend too much more time on it. How? Why are there wolves here? How'd they get down here? Like, I don't know. Kind of like... I don't think wolves can handle huge drops. Humans can't handle huge drops either, so that's kind of a moot point, but... Rude. It's like saying, oh, they can't handle a big drop is meaningless. But it's still kind of... How did it work? How does it happen? Okay, that's a drop. Nothing there. I'll go up, because I think there's a chance I missed something up there, so let's check it real quick. Ooh. HP. Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking about absolutely nothing. Okay, nothing here. Perfect. Nothing that way. Yeah, I don't know what it was that I'm trying to think would be an interesting game. I just think I kind of want to know what life was like in a world of like Elden Ring or Dark Souls 1 or 2, like actually seeing what changed. These are just the Beastmen of Farum Azula, which is, I'm reading it, but like, why are these ones so strong compared to the actual? Well, obviously I'm using weaker weapons, but like their HP totals are so much higher than the ones that are still there. I died to the range. But it's kind of interesting that they're so much stronger for some reason. Yeah, but back to it. I do really wonder, like, this world does not seem very livable. Like, were all these monsters there before the whole shattering of the ring, I think? Or shattering of whatever? The breaking of the Golden Order? Like, before all that, how did people live? Like, did none of the giant dogs and birds exist, did they come into being later, or did they exist before? Were they less aggressive before? Did they become more aggressive after everything that happened? Who knows? I guess it's a case of... I guess the key thing to remember there is... it's only really interesting because that's not when the game is set. Like, the game is not set in the normal time, so you're not necessarily... so you don't know what the normal time is, so it's like the curiosity in my mind is mostly to do with what was it and when it isn't now. So I guess a game that is in the now, as it always will be, will never be able to, like, fulfill that what was it like before now, given that there is no now for it to be compared to, without some weird time travel setup. That could be fun. A time travel Dark Souls adjacent game. Where instead of it being a eldritch horror, it's like a horrific time travel story. I don't think that would work well. Not that there's really that much explicit story that it would necessarily make bad, but... though, like... I'm mostly just thinking about games that I've never actually played, of like Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds type things. Where, like, you can travel to a parallel world and interact with stuff there. Doing something like that could be neat. Where there's two separate worlds, totally different enemy types between the two worlds. But the gameplay is the exact same between the two. Could be neat. Like, it would also help that, well, the story doesn't... story exists in these games, but it's not that wordy, let's say. So a time travel based story, if they don't talk about it at all, it's easier to not... it's easier to just sort of say, oh, it just is this way because it is. But that was a little bit longer than I wanted to go today, but that is, I'm gonna say, enough of Caelid. So, next time, I'll do one episode of the boss, the first boss, Godric. I'll start with, I won't use those because they're awful. I'll do one attempt with this time. And then I'll go back to using other weapons. I'll see how it goes. And then I want to switch this to the Godric Talisman. Where is it? It's down below. I think that's the setup. This armor is probably not optimal at all, but it is what I'm using. I probably don't need that on there, but I want to keep it. Yeah. Next time I'll try this. I'll do one attempt with the Darkmoon Greatsword. Then I'll try other weapons. If in half an hour I don't beat the boss, I'll probably switch back to Darkmoon Greatsword. And hopefully be able to beat it within 15 minutes after that. If I don't beat it in 45 minutes, I will probably switch to... next time I'll probably explore Limgrave instead. Like, I don't want to just focus on doing that boss if it takes that long. It really shouldn't. It really shouldn't take 45 minutes, even. But I think Limgrave is where I'll explore next. Because there's a lot of stuff that I definitely have not explored properly. I guess this guy's already dead, though. So he doesn't matter. But there's definitely a lot of stuff to see. Not that it's going to be super interesting combat-wise, but like, whatever this is, I probably should explore. I don't even know if I've gone here. I bet I have. I'll explore Limgrave. If Limgrave is quick enough, I might explore down here, but I'm not going to focus on this area. It'll just be like an afterthought. After that, I could probably go back here and explore for a bit, but I know for a fact that I have missed Jarburg, but that's intentional. I'm not going to find Jarburg. I'm not going to visit it. It's not going to have its end of story endpoint. This looks like something that I have not explored, but I'm pretty sure I have. Yeah, there's not a lot left without searching guides and then checking every single thing that I've missed. But at this point, there doesn't appear to be a lot to explore. I still need to figure out what this is. But after that, there's just the final boss. So I don't know. It's probably not going to take long to finish the game. Because I don't think the final boss will take me more than an hour or two. Though it could be rough with this weapon, I don't know. But it should be pretty straightforward. I could finish the game fairly quickly. I don't know. I think if I beat the game, I might spend some time seeing how quickly on another save, how quickly I can go through New Game Plus 1, maybe. If I can do it in less than 10 hours, I don't know. Ignoring basically everything and only focusing bosses, I can probably do it that quickly. I think okay, this is meaningless. I'm not going to say anything important. I'm not even going to do side quests. I'm not going to fight Radon. If I do that, I'll just go, so it goes here, you fight 2 bosses here, then you fight the boss here, which might not be mandatory. I'm not sure. Then I can go up to the Atlas Plateau. I think at that point, I think it's either mandatory to get Radon or Volcano Manor. I'm not sure. I think Volcano Manor is mandatory, like one of the two. Though it is possible, like this might count as a great rune. You need 2 great runes. Renala might count. If she does, then I can get into Lanedel. Then Lanedel is kill Morgott. After Morgott, it's Fire Giant. After Fire Giant, it's Malekith, which will probably be rough on that other playthrough account because I don't think it's actually very good. But it might be straightforward, I don't know. Then after that, after Malekith, it's what's his name? The All-Knowing, then this guy, then the final boss. I think up until this boss, that should be pretty easy. Malekith might be rough. The All-Knowing is not rough. I don't think any of the last 3 bosses are going to be super bad. They might not be quick, but they're not going to be awful. So I could probably do that reasonably quickly. But New Game Plus is harder than New Game. So, I don't know. I don't know how much harder it is. But yeah, I'll stop here. So, have a nice day. Bye-bye.